I believe everything about the guitar comes together and has some kind of level of importance. The strings you use, the action on the guitar, of course, like the pickups, even the wiring, what guitar cable you use, everything's going to have some kind of level of importance to how you play and how it sounds. Now, obviously, some things are more important than others, but I think everything does come together and have a pretty significant impact on your playing in the instrument itself. And today we're going to be discussing more specifically string gauge and what has kind of led me to what I currently use after playing guitar for I think 15 years now. Now, for the first like 10 years of my playing, I was mainly a Super Strat guy. Specifically, a Charvel San Dimas was my favorite guitar. The majority of my playing career, that was my #1 guitar. I played that for years and years to the point where I need new frets. The neck has a crack in it. I need to fix it. I really miss that guitar, so hopefully I'll make it a goal. This year, I'm going to fix that guitar. But anyways, that was my main kind of playing guitar. And when it comes to string gauges, really the main topic for me or thought is the overall tension that certain string gauge creates on the guitar. So there's kind of these two categories. They're not always 100%, but usually there's like the Fender scale length guitar, which is around 25.5 inches. And then there's the Gibson scale length, with its 24.25. Now that's important because when we talk about string gauges, it's going to change depending on what type of guitar you're playing, because the longer the scale length, the more tension the guitar is going to naturally have. You know, the same exact setup I have on this Les Paul, if I did it to a Strat, it's going to be more tense. There's going to be more tension just because of the scale length itself, because Gibsons have a 24.75 scale length, which is shorter, which makes the tension a bit less. Now, during that time where the kind of Super Strat was my style of guitar, whether it was an Ibanez like RG or a Charvel or some other kind of iteration of that, my main string gauge was 9-42, and my tuning was standard tuning. So that's also another key thing, is the tuning of the instrument, of course. Now, for whatever reason, back in 2020, well, actually, I kind of know why. I was watching a lot of Josh Smith. If you guys don't know who Josh Smith is, he's an incredible kind of like blues jazz country player. Plays guitar with Joe Bonamassa, but he does his own thing. He's absolutely incredible. You guys should definitely check out Josh Smith. But I heard that he uses like 13s or something insane. So, you know, I'm using 9-42 for like a decade at this point, and so I don't really know. I get a little crazy. So I start upping it to, I start trying out 11s. On one guitar, I remember specifically, I couldn't find 13s. I was using 12s for a while on one instrument, a Strat. And for about a year or two, I'm using 11s, 12 on that one guitar, and this is all in standard tuning. And this is on, you know, Super Strat style guitars, and Les Paul as well. So it's obviously the string tension is a little bit different, like we talked about a moment ago. But I was using 11s, 12 on this one instrument. My hand's getting strong, but also it's getting beat up. It's, you know, the experiment was naturally kind of running its course, because I thought it was. I don't know, I almost got like an ego in a way of like using the thickest strings possible. And I was just like, this is ridiculous. But what ended up happening to me, and why I've changed, and this is kind of the course of the last 3 years, is I suffered, I wasn't playing guitar with my first injury. I had a hand, like forearm injury that really, really affected my guitar playing a lot. I couldn't play, and at this point I'm gigging a lot. There's a lot of gigs going on, and I have to play, but I ended up basically not playing unless I'm gigging. And so I'm experimenting with different things, like going to physical therapy, doing stretches and stuff like that. Nothing's really helping. I'm not sure. I think it was some kind of maybe tendonitis, or maybe even kind of a strained muscle of some sort in my arm. Anyways, it was very, very painful, and I couldn't play the guitar the same, especially not with 11s or 12s in standard tuning. So I started lowering it back down. I dropped slowly, eventually went down to 10s. And at this point, I'm pretty much full-time like Les Paul playing at this point. So the scale length is the 24.75. I don't think I'm really playing a Fender style scale length anymore, so that tension has already kind of decreased a little bit, but I go down to 10s. So I'm feeling good. I kind of was fully recovered for about a year, and just mainly playing 10 to 48 or whatever for standard tuning for about a year. I was finally being able to play like I used to, or close to. I used to never take a day off, and I would play hours every day. And when this injury happened, I was playing like it was only at gigs. So whenever I was gigging, that was the only time I was playing, or maybe a lesson. Barely in my lessons I could play. So it was an unfortunate time, but started building up my ability. And then a few years ago now, almost 2 years ago now, I had this sharp pain in my index finger when I was playing, and then I was again gigging a ton. It just kept building over months and months and months to like my whole arm. It was terrible. I couldn't play at all. My arm was going numb. It was horrendous. So at this time, it sounds like a painful story. How does it relate to string gauge? Well, and this is thankfully that band we played everything a half step down, and not only that, I dropped down to 9 to 42s. So I'm playing only Gibson scale length guitars, 9 to 42. Not only that, I'm a half step down. So that's where I sit today as well. For a few years I went on this super string tension kind of run, and now like I'm even debating in my mind trying 8s at a half step down. I haven't done that yet. I might do that in the future, maybe make a video on that because I'm just curious myself. And I'm really, my whole mentality now because of these injuries is, and longevity of playing for me, and staying as healthy as possible, and playing with as little tension as possible, whether it's literally, me controlling the tension or the instrument itself. So also with that, which I haven't talked about, is the string height, the action on the guitar. Now I used to be like more of a medium to high action player. Now I'm like literally obnoxiously low. The average person plays my guitar and they can't play it because it's ridiculously low. And the string tension is insanely light because it's, like I said, it's 9 on a Gibson scale length guitar, a half step down. And, I've done all this literally just to stay healthy and make sure I can keep playing. Thankfully now, in the past close to 9 months, 10 months, I've been doing really, really good. No pain, or no significant pain, at least. It's all controllable. And I think it's a massive part is choosing the strings and the tuning that works for me. And obviously there's some other things health-wise to, exercise-wise, and make sure everything's, staying healthy. But the string gauge has been the biggest thing for me that's allowed me. Like if I was sticking to 11s at standard tuning, I wouldn't be playing guitar today. There's no chance. It would be way too painful and too tense. But lowering the tension has made me, number one, it makes this hand way more relaxed. It's super easy. If you go from 11s to 9s, a half step down, well, you're going to overplay, right? You're going to notice that, oh my gosh, my fingers are doing too much. Like it's way more aggressive. And so I'm a way weaker player than I used to be. And that's because I've been playing with these strings a certain way. I used to think that was a problem for me. I was like, kind of had an ego, I wanted the strongest fingers. I wanted to just make guitar. Honestly, like, I don't know if BB King actually said that, but I think he said it to Billy Gibbons or something like that. And then, of like, why are you making guitar so hard, And then Billy Gibbons started playing like 7s or 8s. BB King played 8s, I think, something like that. And so I'm actually eventually I plan to experiment with 8s and maybe even 7s because, I want to play guitar my whole life. I want to, in having an ego about playing 11s or 10s or 12s. I see no benefit in my experience. I don't think there's a tonal benefit. There's really no benefit. The only benefit is to me is it increases your chance of injury. Obviously I have a like a dramatic story when it comes to string gauge and choosing the right strings and tuning and stuff like that. But that's been my experience. Is literally, I've seen no tonal benefit. I don't play better with thicker strings. I just see that lighter strings, I play with less tension, and I injure myself way less. So I'm right now at 9 to 42, a half step down. I'm going to experiment this year with dropping it even lower and seeing how that goes. Because I'm in the mindset, I want guitar to be as easy as possible. I want to pick up the guitar and play and have fun and make music, not have a challenge. My goal is to make it, like BB King says, like, why are you making it so challenging, so hard for yourself? I want to make it as easy as possible. And also, I don't want to have to be dealing with injury and, moving the thickest strings possible. There's really no advantage to it other than the risk of injury, in my opinion, especially if you're putting a lot. If you're not playing that much, maybe you're fine. But if you're playing a lot, and you're using these super thick strings, in standard tuning and something like that, or maybe even on a Fender scale length, I don't see it being worth it. Maybe somebody in the comments will be like, the tone sounds way better or something like that. I don't believe that personally. I think playing guitar, making it as relaxed and easy as possible is the dream, and it's the healthiest way to have a long career, in my opinion. So that is my kind of experience and thought process with string gauges. Whatever makes life as easy as possible. Now, there's upsides and downsides to different thicknesses, and it's just because it's thin string gauge and you're tuned a half step down like I am now, doesn't mean every part of it's easy, but the fretting hand is a lot easier for sure. I would say the picking hand's a little bit more difficult. But anyways, that is kind of my thoughts with string gauge. I wanted to share with, I get asked quite often what string gauge I use. That is what I use. That's where I'm at. That's my process over the years of why I am using the string gauges that I'm currently using. And like I said, I might even be lowering it down to 8s in the future just to make it as easy as possible for me to play with as little tension as I can, and hopefully minimize the possibility of injury in the future. It's coming up on like a 2-year anniversary of that second injury, and that injury was devastating. It was absolutely terrible. And I hope I can, I've changed a lot with my guitar in my life, exercising wise. So hopefully I can stay healthy, but I think the string gauge is the biggest thing that's allowed me to play guitar today, keep developing my musicianship and my guitar playing, and not be injured unnecessarily. And there's no reason to make guitar hard. It's fun. It's already hard enough. We shouldn't try to use string gauges like 13s like Josh Smith. He's a unique person. He's incredible. But I don't think we should all be doing that. We should be confident in our own kind of self, and if that's what we like, we can do that. But I don't think it's worth the risk for me personally. So I use the thinnest possible filling strings I can. So that's my thoughts on it, and I hope you guys got something out of today's video, and I'll see you back next time.